It's a new Saturday, which means a brand new art challenge prompt over on the Mission Inspiration Facebook group. So without further ado, let's have at it. Okay, so the prompt for week 25 Mission Inspiration is limits. Recognise boundaries as guides, not barriers. Embrace constraints with purpose. Like a river sculpting the earth, navigate the limits, discovering the strength within confinement. In understanding, find liberation. Move forward with intention, for within limits lies the potential for expansive growth. I suppose that means when you know what your goalposts are, what your boundaries are, you can rise to fit. You can utilize and go right to the edges, so push that envelope, if you like. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to limit myself to one colour palette, which is going to be green. So what I've done is I've gone through my collection of stuff. I've got some Distress Oxide Twisted Citron. I've got some Robin Hood Indigo Blue Vivids, which I have mixed with a little bit of water in a spritz bottle. I've got lime green and sea green Colourcraft Brush Up pigment powders that I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. That I've mixed with a little bit of water. Well, I did these a couple of years ago, actually. These are just the remnants, and I've put them into new bottles because this is all I've got left, and I'm not going to make any more up. It took me nearly 3-4 years to go through a full bottle of these, but I'm going to use them up. So I've got 4 different shades of green. I've got 3 liquid inks and 1 oxide, which I'm hoping is going to react and lay over the top of those to give a little bit of light over the darker colours. That's the plan. Okay, so I'm going to allow myself 1 layer in the background, which is going to be this dictionary page from my old dictionary, not my my old dictionary, not my new old dictionary. I haven't decided whether I'm going to gut that one yet. But anyway, so that's going to be the limit of my background, is going to be this 1 dictionary page, and I've torn it out at the word limit. So that will be in the background somewhere. I am going to work on the actual piece of card that's going in my journal afterwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it so that I don't get too much schmutz on the other side. So first things first that I want to do is I want to glue this down onto the page. So I could use a dry glue stick, actually. That probably would be easier because that way it's not going to soak in and crinkle the paper that much. Let me just grab some scratch paper. There we go. So I'll do a line all the way down. And of course you can limit yourself like I'm doing. Create conditions for the creation of your art journal page. Limit yourself to time, limit yourself to your materials, limit yourself to a particular colour, a shape. You could create an art journal page with just circles or with just squares or that kind of thing. Right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to tape this down, just using some low tack stencil. That was my tummy. My tummy's rumbling. So what I'm going to do is just lay this down so we're going to get a little bit of a border, fingers crossed, providing it doesn't soak underneath. So this is stencil tape, so it's low tack. It seems to be ripping quite easily today. Mind you, it is quite old. I've had these rolls for quite some time. So maybe the adhesive is... There we go. I just tear it gently. Do it gently, not rough. There we go. That's better. So I'm just going to tape it to my worktop, and it's also going to create a little bit of a frame, as well as preventing it from moving too much. Because when I start spritzing colours everywhere, there we go. Okay, so now I've got that down, I'm going to limit myself to one kind of focal point, which is going to be this bird from my Carte Noire collection. So these are the laser cut birds. This is the reason why these aren't being sold. These are my working copies. It's because they're just a little bit too burnt on the back for me to be comfortable sending those out to a customer. So I'm going to use them myself. I just hadn't got the right power ratio right for these at that time. So I've got 2 or 3 sheets of these that I'm going to be using. So that's this bird here. And this is the one that I'm going to use. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the white side this time. And I'm just going to put a little bit, if I can, of... There we go. This is repositionable tape, and I'm going to just stick it down over the top of the word limit. Now that's going to create like a little bit of a mask. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start spritzing, which is going to get really messy, with some of these colours. So this is the reason why I put them into new bottles, because the old ones I've started to get gunked up. So I just need to work the liquid up the tube first. Here we go. Let's see if it's going to work. Perhaps I should have put more water. Here we go. Maybe I should have put a little bit more water in. I never thought about there not being enough for it to actually go up the tube. There we go. That should, theoretically now, yeah, that should do it. So I'm going to go across the page that way, and then I'm going to add some of the darker colour while it's still wet. And then we'll take some of that sea foam. I think maybe the tube is actually the wrong way. Turn the tube round so that it is going to go into the liquid when I tilt it. That's more like it. And then, while it's still wet, let's add in some of that distress oxide. Ew. So that will react. So I'm going to bring back in that darker colour. All right. And then I'm going to dry that. Now all that's dry, I'm going to add some black splatters. Now I'm allowing myself black because there already is black with the writing on the dictionary page. So we're not introducing a new colour, we're sticking to just that one colour. So I've got some black gesso, and technically black isn't really a colour, it's actually an absence of colour. Or if you split it, it's actually all the colours. Why isn't that lid on properly? There we go. Let's just create a little bit of a splash. I don't mind getting a little bit on the birdie. Yeah. Because it will react as well to the inks and stuff that's on the page already, because they're water-based. So anything that you put on afterwards, if I had put white gesso on there, it would have reacted. But because it's black, it probably won't show through anyway, so it'll probably mask it because of the dark pigmentation of the paint. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is just dry that, give it a little bit of a gentle dry with the heat gun, and then I'll be back. Now that the black's dry, I'm going to do some ghosting. So I'm going to come back in with the white. So I'm just going to, in fact, shall I just use what's on there? Is there going to be enough? No. So I think what I'll do is I will spritz it onto my hand and just let it fall through my fingers. And you can see where it's reactivating again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it to work for a couple of seconds so it reactivates the ink, but not the paint, just the green. And then I'm going to take some tissue paper, and then I'm going to just lay it over the top and lift it. And you can see where the colour is going to be lifted off because it's coming through the tissue. So we create that lovely kind of mottled background. And I'm just trying to see wherever it's still shiny. I think I managed to get everywhere. All right, so we just need to leave that to dry for a second or two, and then we can lift off the bird, and hopefully we've got a nice little outline of where the bird used to be. All right, so it's been a few minutes. I've already just got my scalpel up underneath and lifted off the legs. There we go, we've got a little bit of leakage underneath there, but that's okay, don't mind that. Like that. So what I'm going to do is put that to one side, and then I need a black pen. And then what I'm going to do is just go around just with a kind of scribbly outline of where the bird there we go. I'm just reinforcing that kind of shape. Like it a lot. theoretically, I mean, I could have left the bird in. So what I might do is just add maybe some glue onto the back of that and maybe just create a bit of a dark shadow around it. Let's have a look to see. Yeah, I've got a graphite pencil, but I've also got a Stabilo awl, which is black. So maybe I'll just add a little bit. And then water pencil. Water pen, yeah, got one here. Now I just have to be really, really careful because obviously the water's going to react with that colour underneath as well, the green. So just add just a touch. As kind of grounding for the bird. Just a little bit of shadow. I'm concentrating so hard, like I'm forgetting to speak. Right, like it. So again, just give it a quick gentle blast. So I've got the option of sticking that back into that space now if I want to, or leave it blank, but I think I'm going to leave it and I might use this another day, so I'll put that to one side. So now let's lift off this tape. Hopefully it's not wicked under too much. Maybe just a little. But we don't mind a little. Like it. I like it a lot. So what I'm going to do is maybe just go around the outside just to kind of add a darker frame, which again reinforces those colours within. So the black from the dictionary page, the black splatters, and the outline of the pen, of the bird, sorry, in the pen. And then just to finish off, I've got a little quote that I've already printed, and it's just been printed on white paper because I wanted it to pop just like the background of the bird, and then we can stick that down onto the art journal page down here. So, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it at this side because the bird's up there in the top right. I'm going to put the quote down here towards the bottom left, just for a little bit of balance. So I've just got a little bit of glue. So I'll just run that across the back. So we shall put that there. can't go wrong with bird motifs. Birds and butterflies. And dragonflies to some extent. So there are some really good kind of motifs that you can use for your focal points. Houses, birds, dragonflies, butterflies, windows. There you go. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I might actually just put just so in the interests of keeping everything together. So this pen that I'm using is a Uniball I Ocean Care. So it's made with 75% recycled plastics. 10% of those come from ocean waste. So it's helping to get rid of that stuff that's floating out there in the ocean. So I think it's 10% of that 75%. It's not an additional, I don't think. But there we go. And I've just noticed that I spelt the word exist wrong. But I've swapped it now. So there you go. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this art journal page today. If you have, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And don't forget, you can join us over in our Mission Inspiration Facebook group. That's the URL on the screen there, but there will be a clickable link below the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.